Master Your Mindset Radio, episode 109.
Welcome to Master Your Mindset Radio, the show where we empower you to discover your true self before the world told you differently. Now for your host, Elizabeth Nader.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. Today's subject is, are you a leader or are you a follower? Now, judgment-free zone, you are what you are right now, but I think you're going to probably figure out that I will push and challenge each of you to become leaders in your own way. It's okay right now if you are truly a follower, but it's not okay, in my opinion, to stay there, and I'll explain why. But in order to understand where you are right now, I'm going to give you some traits and attributes of followers who need to become leaders. And it's really somewhat a matter of maturity. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to lead an organization, lead a movement, lead a group per se, but it's a mindset. Leadership is a mindset. Being a follower is also a mindset. We all start as followers, but we must mature. We must mature in our personalities. We must mature in our emotions, in our character, in our mindset in order to become leaders. It's not a disgrace to be a follower, but like Napoleon Hill says, it's no credit to remain one. Everyone who is a great leader today starts in the capacity of a follower. But if you are an intelligent follower, if you are a follower who's looking to learn from the leaders you're around, if you can follow someone, you can learn how to become an efficient leader. So it's important that you know how to follow a leader intelligently so that you can eventually become a leader as well. And again, this isn't about being number one in a company. This isn't about leading some huge group per se. It's about a mindset. It's about a way of looking at the world that inspires others. So let's talk about the traits you may have today if you are more comfortable following than leading. And I'm going to approach this really sort of in the negative, so to speak, because I want to challenge you to look at yourself and say, okay, does that fit me? And therefore, do I have a follower's mindset? And perhaps I need to work on that to become more of a leader in my mindset. So the first one we're going to talk about is emotions. So if you're in a following mindset, you have to work extra hard to control your emotions. When you look at leaders, they have emotional intelligence. They feel things deeply. It's not that they don't have emotions, but they know how to control them, how to use them correctly, how to be in charge of them. They don't allow their feelings or emotions to drive them. Instead, they are on top of those things. So it's not that they're unfeeling. It's not that they don't have these emotions, because we all have them. It's important that you have them. I would say there's an issue if you don't have feelings and emotions. But it's a matter of whether or not they're driven by them or they drive their emotions and their feelings. But you'll find that followers tend to be more reactive with their emotions. Leaders instead are more responsive to their emotions. One speaks of controlling it. The other speaks of being controlled by it. Here's another aspect of being a follower. You like to be in the middle of the road. Now, that's okay sometimes, but not if you want to live there all the time. If you live in the middle of the road, you're going to get run over by both sides. When you look at a successful leader, they have strong convictions. Doesn't mean they're always right, but they're strong. They're bold in what they believe and committed to those ideals. But followers tend to be less committed. Being in the middle of the road sort of suggests that you could go either way, right? That you don't necessarily feel strongly about your ideas. So a leader, however, is committed to ideals and will stand strong in the face of a storm especially when those ideals are attacked. Followers like to stay in the middle. Now, you may be in the middle for a while until you figure out where you stand. But life really isn't best lived in the middle. The middle of the road mindset is one that really gets you nowhere. Be willing to take a stand. Be willing to step into an issue and stand for it boldly and strongly. That's what a leader does. If you're a follower, you might be set and rigid in your thinking. Now, that's interesting because I just got done telling you successful leaders are bold in their beliefs, they have convictions, and followers are less committed. Now I'm saying if you're a follower, you may be set and rigid in your thinking, and you're thinking to yourself, that doesn't make sense. Well, there is an element of the leadership mindset where you know when you have to be flexible. You know when you have to embrace change. You know when you need to challenge a position that you've been holding. So yes, you are headstrong and determined often as a leader, but you have balance to that. And followers tend to just stay on the same course no matter what. So that's a rigidity. They're not willing necessarily to change. And it's not because of the power of their convictions. It's just an unwillingness to change. Here's another one, being averse to risk. Are you averse to risk? Well, each of us has our risk tolerance, and some of us are more averse to risk than others. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a follower and not a leader, but I think you ought to look under the covers there. Are you cautious because you're not dreaming, you're not pushing yourself, you're shrinking back from opportunities? Or are you using good judgment and wisdom, and therefore you are averse to a certain kind of risk? Those are very different things. Leaders are willing to dream big and take action, but they're not foolish. And followers tend to step back and watch from the sidelines. They move more slowly. So being risk averse is in itself not an indication necessarily that you're a follower. But if you are that way in every area of your life and you find yourself making excuses to avoid risk, then I would challenge you that maybe you need to have more of a leadership mindset. Here's another point for you on being a follower. Are you not high in self-confidence? Do you have low self-confidence? Again, leadership mindset, there's a decisiveness. You have opinions. You have self-assurance. You don't often look at your limits as much as a follower who is struggling with self-confidence. So when you struggle with self-confidence, you see your limits first, and you also look at others' judgments of you, and you put more faith into that than yourself, right? So your self-confidence takes a hit because no one's going to love you as much as you should love and believe in yourself. It's just not possible. And if you're unable to do that and you're swaying in the wind of judgments from others around you about yourself, your self-confidence is going to take a hit. So the sign of a leadership mindset is that you have strong self-confidence, and a sign of a follower mindset is that you are struggling with self-confidence. Here's another one. If you are not results-oriented, then you are likely in a follower's mindset. This is why. Leadership mindset, it's really about a definitive plan. It's about a blueprint, a way to get from A to B, a bridge between a goal and getting something done. It's about results. So you think in terms of achieving something. You may fail at it. That's okay. But we're talking about focusing on the goal, being results oriented. A follower's mindset just doesn't understand that. They need clear instructions to just focus on their little piece of it. They don't see the big picture. They're not the visionary that a leadership mindset is. They just see what's in front of them. They see the only thing that's affecting them, and they have a hard time understanding how that fits into the overall picture. So if you are not results oriented and you're not focusing on results, which is end goal, then you're probably in a follower's mindset. Here's another clue of that follower's mindset is your focus. What is your focus like? Are you disciplined and focused and get things done in some kind of focused manner? Or are you scattershot? Just, go here, go there. distracted, put something down, take something, up something else. You don't get everything done before you get distracted and pick up another task. So when you have a leadership mindset, you tend to focus and get from A to B and then take on something else. In some cases, there's some of us who multitask very well, but for the most part, leadership mindset, you tend to focus on that accomplishment, that result, therefore you're focused. And if you're finding yourself scattered brain, just not getting things done in some kind of legitimate order or not completing a task before you go to the next one, you may be struggling with a follower's mindset. Here's another one. Are you not communicative? Do you struggle with being able to express yourself, your needs, your feelings? If that's the case, you may have more of a follower's mindset. I want you to have a leader's mindset in the area of communication. Not only are leaders, they're good speakers, yes, they listen well, which is important, but they use communication to motivate people. So the listening and the speaking and being able to get across your ideas, being able to encourage people, motivate people, this comes from a leadership mindset. Followers struggle with that. They look inward. They're introspective. They don't communicate as well. So if you're struggling with communication, again, you may be embracing a follower's mindset. Here's another one. It's all about vision and looking how far ahead you look. I think one of the key words, as I've said a few times for the leadership mindset, is vision, being a visionary. Not only that, having a vision for the future, but how much can you share it with others? Are you good at sharing it with others? Do you have the ability to communicate it to others? Are you always kind of seeing the end before the beginning? That is a leadership mindset. A follower's mindset is in the moment always just in the moment and not really having a grasp on how what they're doing now or what's happening now has a play for the future, has a play into a vision. You're just not visionary focused. Now, not every leader is as good with vision as others, but it's part of the mindset that you need to think about the end at the beginning. You need to know the why behind what you're doing. Here's one more, number 10, one last clue of whether you are in a follower's mindset or a leader's mindset. Are you focused more on the nuts and bolts of something, or are you more focused on the inspiration behind it? So what a leadership mindset does, what a leader does is motivate and inspire others. That inspiration comes from the big picture. And I've kind of said that a few different ways here. But for followers, they don't think that way. It's not natural. It's more about, well, I don't know. How do we do this? What's happening right now? What's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Not what is the big picture. And when you don't have the big picture and you're not able to evangelize the big picture, it's hard to inspire others. Therefore, you tend to be in a follower's mindset, not a leader's mindset. A leader's mindset is about inspiring others. So listen, I've given you 10 different ways you can see whether or not in any given situation you tend to be more in a follower's mindset or in a leader's mindset. Now, for those of you who are already leaders and you know that, this is confirmation of the mindset that you're embracing daily. And you may find within those 10 areas to improve. If you are not yet a leader and you're a follower, follow well. Learn well, be an intelligent follower, because as Napoleon Hill says, everyone needs to graduate from being a follower to being a leader. And this is done in your mind. This isn't about promotions and things that you've tackled, in your business or major groups that you've led. This is about a mindset. It makes all the difference. I can tell you that as a leader, I would rather have people working with me and for me that have a leadership mindset, not a follower's mindset. So you can always be a leader in any situation. It's simply a shift in how you see the world. And it's a much better way to look at the world. So strive for a leadership mindset and challenge yourself to graduate out of the follower into the leader. And when you do that, you may just find the opportunities then begin to open like never before. Have a great week, guys.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset Radio. Before you go, please visit ElizabethNader.com to learn more about the Mindset Maven and how she is guiding high performers to map their mindset to their message so they can effectively express who they are and why their ideas should win. Looking forward to seeing you online.